Okay, so previous day we have discussed this protocol, that means the stop and wait ARQ protocol, select automatic repeat request protocol, stop and wait. Okay, that is for the noisy channel. Now going back to the protocols, this is the flow control protocols. These are the different flow control protocols that we have seen in our starting of our discussion whenever we are discussing the different flow control mechanism in the data link layer. Okay, and the different flow control mechanism are these for the noiseless channel and for the noisy channel. And we have also discussed the stop and wait protocol, that is the simple stop and wait protocol. And next we have discussed the stop and wait ARQ protocol. And in the case of the flow control protocol, until and unlike the error control protocol, where we are concerned with the sender and the receiver, we are giving the equal importance to the sender and receiver, but here we are only giving the importance to the receiver side only, because receiver only gives the acknowledgement, and depending on the acknowledgement the sender would like to identify whether the frame has been received by the sender or not. Okay, so that's why receiver is quite little bit of importance here in the case of the flow control mechanism. Okay, so now today in the previous class we have discussed the sliding window protocol, the concept, the disadvantages associated with the stop and wait ARQ protocol, that are being some of the last disadvantages that I have discussed, and that can be eliminated with the help of the sliding window protocol. Now these two, go back and ARQ and the selective automatic repeat request, then selective ARQ, these two protocols are called the sliding window protocols. Okay, so previously we have discussed the generalized sliding window protocols, and now today our topic of discussion is go back and in ARQ. Now previous day whenever we are discussing the sliding window protocol, we have also discussed a term that is called the window size. So that is also applicable here, because we have previously we have discussed the generalized sliding window protocol where window size is important. Here also we are discussing some of the classification of the sliding window protocol, so window size is also important. So in the term you can see here that the term is topic of discussion is go back in ARQ. Okay, so here the term is that go back in ARQ for the automatic repeat request. So this n is the sender window size. Here the n associated with the name is the sender window size. Okay, so that is the term n is associated. Now there are some of the characteristics of the go back and in ARQ that we like to discuss here. So I am just removing this and try to write down the characteristics one by one. So the first characteristics is go back and ARQ, that means that it uses the concept of protocol pipelining. Okay, so it uses the concept of protocol pipelining. That means the sender can send multiple frames before receiving the acknowledgement for the first frame. So the protocol pipelining, what do you mean by the protocol pipelining, that I am going to write in the next. That means the sender, so the meaning of protocol pipelining is that the sender can send multiple frames before receiving acknowledgement for the first time. Before receiving acknowledgement for first time, that means it does not want any kind of acknowledgement, still it can send multiple frames. That means if the window size is 4, it can send 4 frames at a time without expecting any kind of acknowledgement from the receiver side. So that is the first characteristics of this kind of protocol. That means this is also the characteristics of the sliding window protocol that is also applicable in the go back in ARQ protocol. Okay, this is the first characteristics. Now the second characteristics are there are finite number of frames and the frames are numbered in a sequential manner. Okay, so there are finite number of frames and the frames are numbered in sequential manner, and the frames are numbered in sequential manner. So this is the second characteristics of the go back and ARQ protocol, that there are finite number of frames and the frames are numbered in sequential manner. All the frames are numbered in sequential manner, and we will learn this in a bit later time. Okay, what is the actual meaning of that? That means the frames are numbered in sequentially, not randomly. Okay, now the number of frames that can be sent depends upon the window size. That is the predefined criteria, that the number of frames that can be sent depends upon the window size. Okay, so this is the third characteristics of this go back and ARQ protocols, that at a time this number of frames can be sent. Okay, so the next characteristics is the acknowledgement of a frame is not received if the acknowledgement after sending the window size, that means after sending, suppose the window size is 4, so after sending 4 frames at a time, now if the acknowledgement of a frame, first frame, is not received within an agreed upon time or within the timeout period of the sender, within agreed upon time period, within the agreed upon time period, all frames in the current window are retransmitted. All frames in the current window are retransmitted. So the meaning of that, if suppose one of the frame in the window size, suppose the acknowledgement, there are 4 frames, suppose the acknowledgement for one of the frames is not received correctly, then what the sender will do, sender will send all of the frames in the window size again. Okay, all of the frames. So that is, you can think of an disadvantages of this protocol. Okay, so I'm just highlighting that means the all frames in the current window are retransmitted. Okay, so that is the important point here, and you can, whatever you think, this is an advantage or the disadvantages according to you. That means there are some of the disadvantages of this point and also some of the advantages. Okay, next, the size of the sending window determines the secure number of the outbound frames. So what is the meaning of that? That if the size of the window size, the size of the window, that means the sending window, determines the the sequence number, that determines the sequence number of the frame, that determines the sequence number of frames to be sent from the sender side. Okay, now suppose sender window size will be n. Now the sender window size will be n, and here in the case of the understanding purpose we have assumed that the size of the n will be equal to 4. Now this 4 can be written as 2 to the power 2. Now this 2 is important, 2 to the power 2. Now this 2 is important. Now what is the meaning of 2? The sequence number I have written that the size of the window determines the sequence number of the frames. Now there are these two, just understand this. Suppose this 2 to the power 2. Now that means in the sequence number of the window there is two number of bits that can represent the sequence. Two number of bits means, so sequence will be marked as 0 1 2 3, again 0 1 2 3, because the window size is 4. Now this 2 is actually represented as this 0 is represented binary by 0 0 by 2 bits by 2 bits by 2 bits by 2 bits. So that is the meaning of this. Okay, that is the meaning of this 2. That is the meaning of this 2. Okay, so that's why it is been said that the size of the window that actually determines the sequence number of the frames, and this sequence number is goes on. Okay, so that is the procedure by which we are determining the sequence number. So the number of bit in the sequence number is 2. Number of bits in the sequence number, this is the number of bits in the sequence number is 2 to generate the binary sequence 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Okay, now we are understand the working of the go back and ARQ protocol. Now working. Now in the case of the working, previously that we have also discussed the frame. Suppose we are considering a frame. This is a frame. Within that frame, suppose 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, suppose like that. So frame number 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 frames. Suppose 8 frame is to be there. Now window size is 4. I am assuming that the window size is 4 also here, and for the simplicity purpose what we have assumed, we are not assuming that the sequence number is 0 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 like that. For the purpose of our understanding, here we are assuming that the frames are numbered like this 0 1 2 3. That the window size is 4, so the first frame is to be selected like this. Okay, now there is your sender. Suppose there is your sender and there is your receiver. Okay, sender and your receiver. So I'm not just, so this is your sender and this is your receiver. Now what happens, the sender is sending the frames 0 1 2 3 without expecting any kind of acknowledgement at a time. So this frame has to be sent like this. So all the frames had been sent. Now what happens, the acknowledgement, now the part is the acknowledgement. Now the acknowledgement for this frame, now it expect an acknowledgement after sending all the frames. This is the window size. So after sending all the frames, all these frames, window size is 4, that's why 4 frames can be sent at a time. So this is 0 1 2 3. Okay, so next what it will do, it will now expect an acknowledgement. Now suppose acknowledgement for this 0 has been received, acknowledgement for this 0 has been received properly. Okay, so the acknowledgement for this 0 frame, has been received properly. Now what happens, this this window has been slided 1 2 3 4. This window has been slided to its left, slide to its left. So again it will send the next frame, that means frame number 4. Okay, so it will send the frame number 4. So now the window size is again 4. This is the 4. So now it will expect a acknowledgement for this 1. Now it will expect an acknowledgement for this 1. So suppose this acknowledgement is also been received properly. So after receiving the acknowledgement for this frame, after receiving the acknowledgement for this frame, what it will do, it will again sliding its window. So window has been again shifted to, suppose 1 has been received, so now the window size is 4. So shifted to 2 3 4 5. So this will not be numbered like this 0 1 2 3. For the purpose of our understanding, we are just assuming this will be numbered, sequence will be numbered like this. So this will be the proper way. Okay, so suppose 1 has been received. So what happens, what it will do, it will again shift frame number 5, and also the window has been shifted to here 2 3 4 5. This is the current window. Now what happens, this is the 2, this is the 2. Now the acknowledgement for this 2 has been, acknowledgement for this has been lost. So this acknowledgement is lost. So this is acknowledgement. So this acknowledgement is lost. It may happen the acknowledgement is lost. Now there is a agreed upon time period. I have already said previously that there is a agreed upon time period. Within that agreed upon time period, if the acknowledgement is not received, then what it will do, sender will retransmit the all data. So what happens, so the next frame is to be sent is this. So it will not send this, it will go back to its original, this frame, it will sustain this frame. Okay, and what it will do, it will transmit it, again. Because why? Because your ACK lost, ACK is lost, or ACK not received within timeout. That the time is, there is a timeout in the sender side, there is a timeout in the sender side. Okay, so what it will do, it will again sustain its this frame, it will sustain is this window, and it will again go back to this frame. So this all has been discarded, the receiver, as this 2 is not received, acknowledgement for this frame number 2 is not received. So that's why what it will do, it will discard this 2 to 5. Receiver will discard all this data, all this window size data. Receiver will discard all this window size data, and what it will do, sender will again send from 2 to 5, 2 3 4 5. So 2 3 4 5. So it will, the sender will again send this window size frame. Okay, because receiver is already discarded the data. Why it has discarded the data in the this window? Why it will discard this window size data? Because the acknowledgement for this 2 has been not received properly within the stipulated amount of time. Now it may happen that acknowledgement for this 2 is not received. So if this 2 has been received properly, then the sliding window has been shifted to 3, and if this 3 is not being received properly, then it will again send 3 4 5 6 like this data again. Okay, so this is the procedure by which so this is the procedure by which we can expect that this go back and ARQ protocol will be working. Okay, so this is the working of this go back and ARQ protocol. Okay, so in the next lecture we will discuss the selective repeat request protocol. Thank you.